Okay, guys, so we're going to continue on with the kind of strange and wonderful world of selection, which is really what kind of Photoshop is sort of all about here. Is, of course, I showed you before the magic wand, which you can kind of select areas, and what it's doing is kind of picking areas that are similar to each other. Up here is the tolerance. This is telling me kind of the higher it's set, the kind of wider it spreads its net. So if I went very low, like 2, you'll see that when I click here, it just kind of gets that little band there. While if I put in let's say 200, I don't know if I can even go that high, but let's give it a try here. Right, it's grabbed the whole thing without any kind of real, what's the word? It just kind of grabbed everything. So 32 seems to be the default. Let's put it at 32 and let's give it a try here. Just there you go. Now if I hold the shift key down, I can add to my selection, but it's not a perfect tool. As you can see up here, I've got this strange kind of funky thing going on, but I'm clicking again, holding the shift key. I continue to click. This is another way to select. And of course, the purpose of selecting ultimately is to edit and change. So if you're wondering why all this frenzy about selection is, it's really because we want to change. Now here I have this little kind of funky thing happening and I want to kind of correct it. What I'm going to do is I am going to bring my tolerance way down to like 5, let's say, and I always get kind of mixed up here. I'm going to say I'm now holding down the Alt key, which now tells it that it's going to kind of minus an area from the selection. So it's not really perfect again. It's kind of a fussy way to do it. The other option is I can go in here with the lasso tool. Same thing. I hold the Alt key down, and now I'm going to lasso over and basically take that away from my selection. So there you go. Again, not the perfect tool, but it certainly is good for certain situations. And I'm just going to kind of hold my spacebar down and kind of scan and see where I have trouble with this. And I'm going to say that for our purposes right now, that this is okay. We're going to use this as our selection area. Good enough for this right now. But refining it is basically, there's a couple of ways you can refine it. I just showed you one with the lasso tool here. So we've got our selection, and of course the reason for all this panic about selections is that we can now take these areas and affect them. There are certainly some great excuse me, tools in Photoshop for change. There's really strange, funky ones that you can kind of explore on your own. There's blurring, there's distorting. Let's go for a crazy one, just to, what the heck, we're here, we may as well have a little fun here. And you can see, here you go, something, you know, totally kind of nutty, that has its place certainly. And you know, but if you can learn how to use these different tools, and it's kind of doing this on one side and not the other, has to do with the setting here. You can go through a whole, and it also pulls up a whole other series of tools that you can then access through here. They're fun, but ultimately they are what they are. And you can see that I forgot to add this area to the selection, so it's not doing this. Here you go. You can just go really crazy with these sort of nutty tools, but I would say that they're not the bread and butter of Photoshop. It's really that's actually kind of cool. So you get kind of the idea there. I will certainly demonstrate this in class. It can be a lot of fun, but that's what all the fuss about selection is. It's so that you can manipulate. I pressed cancel on that. What else here can you do? It's all fun, and you know, pixelate, and these things kind of come up in the other sharpen. There's so many different. Let's do something totally nuts here. Yes, a lens flare, just like our lens flare friend in Illustrator, only even more kind of crazy. There you go. Thank you very much. I'll get back to you in the next lesson.